Good day everyone, welcome here to the Carbon channel. Today on this channel it's going to be a Blender beginners tutorial, so if you're new to Blender, this tutorial is definitely for you. So firstly, what is Blender? Blender, you see, is a free open source software which allows us to manipulate and make cool object animations. So without wasting much of your time, let's get started. Welcome back guys. The first thing we're going to do in this tutorial is to talk about our mouse movements. So if you want to zoom in on an object, you could scroll in on your middle mouse button, that is by moving it forward, and you could zoom out by moving it backwards. Now the next thing I would like you to know is that if you hold down your middle mouse button and then you move your mouse, you could rotate around your 3D scene. The next thing is if you hold down shift key with your middle mouse button down, you can pan around and move your whole 3D scene like this. Now the next thing we are going to talk about is the basic modes in Blender. So here we are in the object mode. In the object mode, the basic things that you can do is to select your objects, maybe scale them, rotate them and move them to various parts of your 3D scene. So now we are going to talk about our tools in the object mode. So the tools we have in the object mode, firstly is the select tool. This is used to select different objects in the screen, 1, 2, 3 by selecting, and if you want to select multiple objects, you can hold down your shift key, select 1, select 2 and select 3. Now the next thing we are going to talk about is the cursor. Now this is the cursor. The cursor is this little thing over here. This is the cursor. So if you select this tool, it is used to move the cursor around the screen. Now what the cursor is used for is basically where an object is respawned when it is brought into the scene. So let's take our cursor over here and we press Shift A and we add in a cube. Now you see the cube was generated in the place of the 3D cursor. So if you want to move your 3D cursor, you can select this tool over here and move it around the screen. Ctrl Z to undo this. Now the next tool here is our move tool. Now to select our move tool, we need to select an object. So if we hold the blue line, we are going to move the object along the Z axis. If we hold the red line, we are going to move it along the X axis. And if we hold the green line, we are going to move it along the Y axis. So that is the basic of the move tool. The next is the rotate tool. The rotate tool is used to rotate your object, maybe 360, 90, 180, the angle you want to rotate it as. Now, I would like you to know that this move can also be shortcut for G. Like if I select the select tool and I select this object and I hit on G, I can move my object around the screen. And the rotate, if I select my object and press R, I can rotate my object. Now the next tool is the scale tool. The scale tool, you can scale your object by using the blue, red and the green lines along the Z, X and Y axis. So you can also shortcut it for S. So let's select object and press our S key. You can scale your object in and out. Now the next key is the transform key. This is the joints, can I call it a joint work of the three basic movements in Blender, that is scale, the grab and the rotation, in all in one. So in this I can grab my object, I can rotate it, and I can also scale it. That is the function of the transform tool. Now with all of this said, I would like you to know that you can also go to the edit mode. Now the edit mode is a more complex version of the object mode. Now if you want to go to your edit mode, you can click on tab on your keyboard, or you can go over here and go to edit mode. So let's just go back to object mode, and now if we hit our tab key, we've gone to edit mode. Now in edit mode, this is a more complex version of the object mode, like I said. So I'm just going to hold down my shift key middle mouse button to pan around and take my object to the center part. I'm just going to drag this out so we can have all our tools. We are not going to be doing all the tools, but we're going to be talking about most of them. So we've spoken about the cursor, we've spoken about the move tool, the rotate tool, the scale tool. Now we are just going to go into the extrude tool. But before we go into the extrude tool, we are going to talk about the vertices, the edges, and the face. So what we're going to do is first let's move our mouse like so. Now I'm going to select a face. Now this part of an object is called the vertices. Now this line over here, sorry, let's zoom in so you can have a glance. This object here, this part of a shape or an object is called a vertice. Now this part is called an edge. Now this part is called a face. I think you get it now. Okay, zoom out. Now I'll select edge, select vertices, select, sorry. So you see in the vertice select, the vertices are the only ones that are selected in the object. Now I would like to remind you that if you want to hold down multiple objects in a scene, you can hold down your shift key and select the objects you want to select, and that will allow you to select multiple objects. Another thing I would like you to know is that you can move around your camera view by hitting 1 on your numpad to go to the front orthographic view, 3 to go to side or right orthographic view, and 7 to go to top orthographic view. So that's it. Now in this tool over here is the extrude tool. If you hold down your left mouse button, your left mouse button, you see a menu. So we are going to start from the extrude to cursor. Now if I select here, select a face, you know this here is face select, sorry, select face select, click on a face, and I go over here to the extrude tool. Now this extrude tool I chose was extrude to cursor. So if I click anywhere on the screen, the object will stretch out to that direction. So let's say here, 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 here. You could play around with this. Okay, just going to use Ctrl Z to undo this. Undo. Now let me just go back to object mode. I'm going to tab into object mode, tab, select, just going to delete this object, X, delete. So you can use X to delete an object. Now we are going to use our cursor, put it over here, and now we'll press Shift A to add in an object. Let's add a cube. Sorry about that. So now we have added in our cube. We're going to tab into edit mode. Sorry, tab into edit mode. Now we are still on our extrude tool. So talking about our extrude cursor, if we have our face select selected, tap on anywhere on the screen and the face extrudes to that direction. Ctrl Z to undo all of this. Now if we hold down our left mouse button, extrude individual, this only works when two faces are selected. Now we have two faces selected, drag this up and extrude individual faces. That is how this works. Ctrl Z to undo this, select again, extrude along normals. Now if I drag this, instead of going individually, they will be joined, and these are extruding along their normals. So since they have extruded along the normals, to make this straight, you can come over here and say offset even. Now you see it's straight. Okay. The next one is the extrude manifold. So why I took it from down is so we can have this manifold. So this here is a manifold, and if I select this face over here, that is a manifold, drag this and I bring it down like this. Now you see the manifold goes down without leaving its edges over here. Okay, and I could also extrude it upwards and downwards. Okay, you could use this while making stairs. Okay, very nice to use while making something like stairs. Now the last one is the normal extrude region. So this is used to extrude a particular face. Okay, Ctrl Z to undo this. Let's have back a cube. Now the extrude can be shortcutted for E. Okay, if we go to our select tool and select a face and press on E. We can extrude that face. That is the shortcut. And if you want to have all those menus while using your shortcut, if you hold down Alt and E, and you'll see them pop up on your screen. Now the next tool we are going to be talking about is the insert faces tool. It is shortcutted for eye. This is the this here is the tool, but it is shortcut for eye. If I click a face, I have a face selected and eye key, I can insert it. So it's just bringing the faces inner like so. So you see what I've done. I could also insert again to bring it inner. Okay, so this is basically what the insert is used for. And something cool is that when you insert, you could then extrude using the E, and now you could see you could have a nice shape over here. Okay, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Now the next tool is the bevel tool. The bevel tool is used to make more of less sharp edges or vertices. Okay, so let us select a vertice. Okay, now we have here selected. If we drag on this, now you can see we have made this a bit smoother, but it doesn't look so smooth because the segment is at 1. So if you want to make it more smoother, you could increase the segments to 3, 4, 5. So now you see the more I increase it, that's the more segments we're having. Okay, now Ctrl Z, and the shortcut for this is Ctrl B to bevel. Ctrl B to bevel. Okay, it's a very nice tool. Yeah, very nice. Ctrl Z. The next tool we have is the loop cut. Loop cut. Loop cut is shortcutted for Ctrl R to add a loop cut. So a loop cut is used to add more vertices or edges or a face to to add only vertices and edges to an object. So when I press Ctrl R, you see this yellow line. Now this is a loop cut. Now if I scroll my middle mouse button forward, it's going to add more loop cuts. More loop cuts. Now if I scroll it backwards, it's going to reduce it. Now if I select if I press down my left mouse button, I can now move it along the edges like so and select the position I want it to be established. So let's select here. It's basically what the loop cut does. So I could Ctrl Z to undo this. Ctrl Z to undo this loop cut. Now something also about the loop cut is that we have another tool that is offset edge loop cut. Now this is used to split an object in half. So now if I come over here and I drag my mouse like so, sorry about that, Ctrl Z, let's add in a loop cut. Yes, I've added in a loop cut. Now offset loop cut. Now if I do this, now you see it can be used to split the object in half. Okay, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. The next thing we are going to talk about is the scenes that the viewports that Blender has. So if I tap back to my object mode, I could come over here. This is the X-ray mode. This is the solid mode. And this here is the material preview and the rendered preview. So if I click on the material, go to the material, click here to go to the rendered, but we are still going to stay with the solid mode. Now you can also shortcut all of this holding down Z key, go wireframe, rendered, solid, and material preview. Now over here you'll notice we have the collections panel. The collections panel is used to group everything in a scene. Okay, here we have our properties panel. So thank you for watching this tutorial, as we have covered the object and the edit mode and the basic tools you would need to know. So I hope you do subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it if you do subscribe to my channel.